Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So in this short video, I'm going to share with all of you on how to answer the question for assessment to A SOP reading. Okay, so on the screen, you can see the answers for the first activity on sequencing. Okay, my major concern will be on the sequencing part. So what do you need to do? Okay, so for this kind of activity, as you can see, it is divided into three different parts, which are the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And then the answer for the first phrases has been given, which is on this part. Okay, so let's have a look only on the introduction part and decide which one is supposed to be number two, number three, and number four, and why it is numbered as that way. Okay, so in an essay, normally, okay, we are going to begin, or let's have a look at the final concept or the inverted pyramid. So in an essay, you're going to begin with the general statement, you go down to the body of the essay, and lastly, you go to the conclusion or the summary of what you have presented earlier. So introduction will begin with the general statement. Okay, as you can see, number one has been given there. So we need to decide which is number two, number three, and number four. Okay, all right. So why number two appears here? Because normally, okay, in the introduction, we will begin with the general statement, and normally the data or the information that will be included in the general statement will be about what happened earlier. Okay, as you can see in these sentences, it is stated that the keyword here, you have the word 2 years ago. Okay, let's have a look at number three here. Do we have anything that indicate the time period? None. Okay, what about number four here? Nothing as well. Okay, so that is the reason why, okay, you look for the keyword here, and we can say that this is the second answer. So this is number two in the sequence because of 2 years ago. Okay, however, before you decide on the whole thing here, you have to read the entire sentences given, okay, and then you need to try and find the main idea of the text. What is the main idea? So basically, you can say that this text is about making ice cube candle. So a candle, it derives from a wax. Okay, so we know that now the text is about making candles. Okay, all right. So this is number two because of the keyword here. It begins way earlier compared to the other sentences. All right. Okay, and then it talks about candles making process. Okay, so now let's go to number three here. Okay. And of course, when you have a process and procedure, remember that this is about SOP. You need to have the processes. And before the processes, you are going to have the materials. Okay. So let's have a look at number four here first. Okay. Before number three, I will explain three basic things in making homemade candles, which include how to go about finding the right materials and tools, how to melt the wax, and how to make a molded ice cube candle. So we have it here, the three basic things in making homemade candles. However, let's have a look at the number three here. So let's start by doing the most important thing, which is to find all of the materials and tools needed to make candles. So you know that now at the last part here, we have the information on the three basic things in making homemade candles, which is on looking the materials and tools, how to melt the wax, and how to make a molded ice cube candle. So there are three processes. Okay, but before that, we need to find an indicator. So normally in a paragraph, okay, or an essay, there will be an indicator of what is going on after that. So we have number two here. 2 years ago, I made candles for decoration. So it is like a general statement as well. And you narrow it down by beginning with the word here. Let's start by doing the most important thing, which is to find all of the materials and tools needed to make candles. And that's why this is the third sentences that appears after number one and number two. Because of the keyword, let's start by doing the most important thing, and it is about finding the materials and tools needed. Okay, all right. Then you know that by now there will be materials and then there will be some tools needed to make candles. So number 4 here, why it is number 4? Okay, because before you move on to the processes, okay, it explain or it tells you of the 3 important things, okay, that you need to do in order to make a homemade candles. What are the 3 basic things? Number 1, finding the right materials and tools. Okay, of course, by now, that will be number 1. When we go to the body paragraph of the essay, we should be looking at the materials and tools first, then how to melt the wax. Okay, that will be the second indicator. And the last one, how to make a molded ice cube candle. Okay, so this is number 4. Right, so we go to the body part of the paragraph. We have number 5 here. Okay, why? Okay, because remember that in the introduction part, it mentioned about finding the right materials and tools. And the rest of the sentences over here didn't mention in detail about the materials and tools except for this one. However, why? Okay, I will tell you why this is not number 5 and why this one is number 5 afterwards. Okay, right. So why it is number 5 here? Because it mentioned about the first step that you need to do in order to make an ice cube candle, which is finding the right materials and tools. So why you need the wax, okay, and then wicks, a double boiler, and a mold if you are planning on making a molded candle. So this is number 5. Okay, and the reason why this one appears in number 6, even though it mentioned about the materials or the essential materials, is because of the word apart. So because of the word apart here, you will know that, okay, there is a before what you call it, there is a statement that comes before this statement. Okay, so that's why this one is number 5 and this one is number 6. Okay, next, remember that in the paragraph earlier, which is on the introduction, the first step is finding the right materials and tools. We have covered that. Then we go to the second step, which is how to melt the wax. So you will know by now, next thing will be about melting the wax. Okay, all right. So let's have a look at this part. Once you have all the materials and tools, you can move on to melting the wax. So we know by now, we already have covered the materials and tools needed in making the molded uh, candle. Okay, so now you can move to the next step, which is on melting the wax, and this is the reason why this is number 7. Okay, because it's because of the word once you have all the materials and tools. Okay, right, and then you go to number 8. Okay, where is number 8? Right, so 6 is covered. 10, okay, this is a molded ice cube candle. As you can see, molded ice cube candle will be the last part of the process. Okay, and then after number 9, okay, after the wax is melted, so you know that you have to melt the wax first. Okay, and then this one, because of the word after, so we can put it apart or aside for a while. Okay, and then next, break ice cube into chunks and fill the carton with crushed ice. And then you have the word finally, pour off excess water when the wax is completely hardened. So because of the word finally here, maybe this is going to be the last part for this particular paragraph, okay, of the body paragraph. Right. So we should know by now that this is number 7 because of the word once you have all the materials and tools. Okay, then you go to number 8 here. What you need to do first is to place the wax in the double boiler. So you are in the process of melting the wax. Then put in a pan of water and heat until the water boils. Next, make sure to turn down the heat and let the wax melt. Add wax dye, crayons or sand and stir. So let the wax melt. So this is the process. Okay. So before this, in number 7, you have mentioned that you're going to start by melting the wax. So number 8 here tell you that you have melted the wax. Okay. We move on to the next part. Because of the word after the wax is melted here, this is the reason why this is number 9, not number 10. Okay, all right, and then you can go to the last part of the sentences here. You can make just about anything, but I'm going to show you how to make a molded ice cube candle. Remember that in the first paragraph, which is on the introduction, okay, it talks about the last part of the process, which is how to make a molded ice cube candle. So this is going to be the last part. Okay. All right. So after the wax is melted, so this is the process that will come after the wax is melted. Then you are going to start by making a molded ice cube candle. So this is the reason why this is number 9. And then you have a look at number 10 and number 11 here. Okay. Why this is not number 10? Because of the word next, and then it talks about finally here. So let's have a look at number 10 here. Why this is number 10? Okay, so this is how you go about making a molded ice cube candle. First, cut off the top of a milk carton, okay, which is the mold. Then place a candle, the height of the carton in the center of the carton. This makes an excellent wick. Okay, so this is the first process. While this one, okay, because of the word finally here, we can say that this is the final part of the paragraph. So this is number 10, and this is why this is number 11. Lastly, for the conclusion, you have only 3 options, 12, 13, and 14. Okay, so why this is number 12, right? And why this is 13 and 14? Let's have a look at it. Why? Okay, let's begin with number 14. So today, candles continue to grow in popularity. We use candles for almost any kind of occasion or celebration, and we see them just about everywhere. So when you try making candles on your own, use your imagination and be very creative. Have a great time experimenting and having fun making your own candles to enjoy. Remember that in the beginning of the video, I talked about a funnel concept or inverted pyramid in writing an essay. Okay, so you should start with the gender statement, and then you narrow it down to the body paragraph. Then lastly, you go to the conclusion. And normally, at the end of the conclusion, you're going to summarize of what you have mentioned earlier. Okay, and of course, this is the end of it. Okay, so before the summary, after the summary, normally you're going to end your paragraph, okay, or your essay with something that tells back about the things that you have done earlier. Okay, so maybe this is number 14. Okay, let's put it aside first. Okay, let's have a look at number 13. Briefly, I talk about how to do 3 basic things. I explain to you how to find the right materials, how to correctly melt the wax, and how to make an ice cube candle. Right? So, it somehow tells you that this is the summary of what you have mentioned earlier in the body paragraph. Okay? But keep it aside first. Okay, let's have a look at number 12. Okay, now that you know how to make an ice cube candle, let's go over what I shared with you today. So, in the beginning or in the earlier paragraph, you have mentioned about the processes and everything, and then you go to indicator of what you are going to sum up at the end of the essay, which is in the conclusion. This is the indicator, the word now. Okay, all right. So now that you know you have to make how to make an ice cube candle, let's go over what I shared with you today. So you did mention that you have shared something. What are the things? Okay, that will be the keywords. So that is the reason why this is number 12. Okay, let's have a look at number 13 here. Briefly, I talk about how to do 3 basic things. I explain to you how to find the right materials, how to correctly melt the wax, and how to make an ice cube candle. So, you have the indicator part whereby you tell about what you have covered, and then you move on to the explanation. Okay, you rewrite what you have stated earlier in the body paragraph, and you go to the last part here because this is more on a general version of the 3 paragraphs or 3 sentences that you have over here. And that is the reason why this is number 12, number 13, and number 14. Okay, guys? So I hope that these tips will help you in trying to answer the question for this particular part. Okay, and of course, do not forget that you're going to have part B and part C. For part B and part C, always read between the lines. Be very careful with the question. Try to look for the keywords. in each of the question. So for example, question number 1 for part B or part C requires you to mention or to state something related to figures, numbers, or specific name, and find that information in the paragraph. The best thing is that all of the questions are arranged according to the paragraph or the text. So let's say the first paragraph, and then maybe you're going to have question 1 or 2, and then it belongs to paragraph number 1. Then you go to the second paragraph, and it comes after that, question number 3 and 4 and 5, maybe. Okay, so you don't have to worry because all of the questions are arranged according to the sequence of the paragraph that appear in the text. That's all from me about this video. Maybe we can discuss or I can share with you some other important tips on the listening part afterwards. Thank you. Bye.